The love story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning and Robert Browning is one of the most romantic and intellectually inspiring in history. Their relationship, rooted in a mutual admiration of each other's poetry, blossomed into a deep and enduring love. This love overcame illness, family opposition, and societal expectations. Elizabeth Barrett, one of the most renowned poets of the Victorian era, lived a secluded life due to chronic illness and the oppressive control of her father. Despite her isolation, her poetry attracted a wide readership, including Robert Browning, a fellow poet. In 1845, Browning wrote her a passionate letter of admiration, beginning with the words, "I love your verses with all my heart." This letter was the spark that ignited their extraordinary romance. Their correspondence quickly grew into one of the most famous epistolary romances in literary history. Over the course of 574 love letters exchanged between 1845 and 1846, they fell deeply in love, not just with each other's minds, but with each other's hearts. Elizabeth, initially hesitant due to her frail health and the constraints placed on her by her overbearing father, found strength and hope in Robert's affection. She wrote of how his love seemed to breathe new life into her, lifting her out of the shadows of illness and isolation. In one of her most famous sonnets, "How Do I Love Thee? Let Me Count the Ways," Elizabeth immortalized the depth of her love for Robert in verse. Her poetry during this time reflected the transformation she was undergoing, her heart once burdened with sorrow, now filled with love and hope. Despite Elizabeth's initial fears about her health and her father's disapproval, Robert's devotion never wavered. In 1846, the two secretly married and eloped to Italy, where they would spend the rest of their lives together. Robert's love and care for Elizabeth allowed her to thrive. Her health improved in the warmer climate, and she continued to write some of her best work while living in Florence. Their marriage was one of profound intellectual and emotional companionship. They wrote, and shared ideas, continually inspiring each other's creative work. Robert adored Elizabeth, not only as a poet, but as a person, and she in turn found in him the courage and freedom to live a life of her choosing. Elizabeth's father never forgave her for the marriage and disinherited her, but the love between Elizabeth and Robert only grew stronger. They lived happily in Italy for 15 years, until Elizabeth's death in 1861. Robert, devastated by the loss, continued to cherish her memory and legacy. He preserved their letters and ensured that her poetry was celebrated. The love between Elizabeth Barrett Browning and Robert Browning is immortalized not only in their poetry, it is also in the tender, passionate letters they wrote to each other. Their story is a testament to the transformative power of love, a love that defied illness, family expectations, and societal norms. This love left behind a legacy of beautiful words that still move readers today.